program explores complex financial crimes and their global impact. The views expressed by guests do not necessarily reflect those of the producers and/or the host. From boardroom decisions to shadow banking, from Wall Street to the dark corners of the internet, this is From the Hill to the Trenches, the search for justice. I'm your host, Dorothy Hill. As a former Goldman Sachs associate who has worked in 5 countries, including Germany and Japan, trained in compliance by a former agent of the FBI, and advised both global banks and government agencies, I've witnessed how money moves through legitimate channels and shadowy networks. In this podcast, we investigate the world of financial crime, otherwise known as fin crime, compliance, and the pursuit of justice. We talk to the insiders, the regulators, investigators, compliance officers, and occasionally the reformed criminals who understand how financial systems can be exploited and protected. From money laundering to sanctions evasion, cryptocurrency schemes to corporate fraud, we follow the money trail and examine the human impact of financial crime. Whether you're a finance professional, work in compliance or technology, or simply care about transparency and justice, join us as we navigate the complex intersection of money, power, and accountability. This is From the Hill to the Trenches, the search for justice. Hi, everyone. Thank you. I'm Dorothy Hill, and this is From the Hill to the Trenches, the search for justice. Today, we're joined by Dillon Abend of 3rd-I. I'll let Dillon speak about his company in terms of having established it. We are very pleased to have him as our esteemed guest on the podcast. I'm sure that you will all be very interested to hear what he has to share with you, the audience. A little background on how I met Dillon. I had worked at Goldman Sachs with Scott Baker. And a few months ago, Scott had written about a very sad incident involving his daughter and a Lyft driver that included illegal activity of inserting a chemical into a water bottle that resulted very sadly in her death. So Scott was raising awareness about knowing, where your university and college students are, also the overall campus security issues, which led to my learning about Dillon, what he has built with his team. And since that time, Dillon has made amazing advances, including securing a $1 million, I believe, is that VC or seed?
Pre-seed.
Pre-seed, thank you. Pre-seed round of capital for his company. And I'll let Dillon introduce himself, his background at University of Miami Herbert School of Business, and how and why he started the company, and then we'll delve right in. Thank you. Go ahead, Dillon.
Definitely. Thank you very much for having me, Dorothy. And a little bit of background about me. I'm a currently recent graduate of the Miami Herbert Business School. Was a major in finance and, minored in management as well. And my freshman year at University of Miami, I realized there were consistent issues in rideshares that were just not getting addressed, where it seemed like I was in a fraternity, and every time we would have a venue, 100, 200 girls would come, and, almost every time there would be an issue that they would run up to their girlfriends and say, oh my God, this just happened to me in the rideshare. And it just kept happening, with the only good solution, or the only solution being of FaceTiming, calling, or texting someone. Oh, stay on the phone with me, or I'll text you when, I get home safe, which usually 9 out of 10 times never ends up happening. So we basically figured out that these FaceTimes, these phone calls, they don't record, they don't have any integrated safety features, and they feel too formal, and they also don't have any group streaming features, so people are scrolling down their phone 2, 3 a.m. trying to get someone to answer. So we wanted to basically create an app that was like a shareable body cam or like a FaceTime with integrated safety and recording features, as well as discreet emergency dispatch, because anytime there would be an incident that would happen, we talked with a lot of rideshare victims. And the question they always got asked is, why didn't you call 911? And they said, how would you want me to call 911? I was within 3 feet of a possible aggressor. If they heard me on the phone, they would have acted in that moment. I couldn't do it. So we worked to create a discrete emergency dispatch. So dispatchers could just receive your live stream and live location at the touch of a button, all silently and all discreetly, without kind of giving away what's happening.
Thank you for that intro, Dillon. Was there a particular moment in time when you had that light bulb moment? You recognized, obviously, the problem on campus. You saw what was happening with the young female students. And I imagine it could happen to anyone, really. When and how did you have that light bulb moment to create your company?
Definitely. Yeah. So I originally had like an idea for like a shareable body cam app. Back in high school, I was kind of same scenario. I was running late at night through an area with a lot of bears, and I used to FaceTime my friend Chris. And eventually one night he said, "Hey man, if a bear attacks you, what do you want me to do here? If I call 911, they're gonna think I'm insane because there's no recording or evidence, and I also don't have your location." So it kind of stemmed from that, and then when my freshman year, kind of really idealized on the rideshare safety issue, and then right now we're branching out to just really all transportation safety, helping you stay safe on the go. That aha moment was probably when I invested all my savings, into creating an MVP. Two of my friends helped kind of launch MVP where I could show people, hey, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? And just seeing people's reactions, be like, oh my God, this is I would use this all the time, or I wish I had this for this reason, that reason. This would have helped me in this scenario, that scenario, and really putting it into the hands of people and having them play around with it, and then adjusting it to their life, and all the scenarios in which could have helped with, was kind of my aha moment.
Great. So we were talking earlier, Dillon, before we started recording, about the FBI and the statistics on Lyft, Uber, and other rideshare incidents. So you and I agree that perhaps not all incidents that are reported to local police precincts make their way up into the FBI database. Can you talk about the stats of how many incidents of like either harassment, sexual assault, and or drugging of passengers occur here in the United States?
Yes. Yeah. So we actually did our own case study at the University of Miami. It was mostly it was all female, all the surveyors. And what we revealed was about 75 to 80% of the people surveyed felt unsafe in ride shares, and about 70% had some type of incident in a ride share. So after we came out with those stats from the surveys, we presented it. It was from many, many different groups of many different people on campus, all female. And recently, a lot when we were presenting to VCs, angel groups, most people kind of laughed at it and didn't understand it. And they were like, oh, there's no way. Oh, where do you get those numbers from? And recently, the New York Times came out with a groundbreaking article that said from 2017 to 2022, a total of 400,181 Uber trips resulted in reports of sexual assault and sexual misconduct in the United States. Court documents showed previously the company had disclosed 12,522 accounts of serious sexual assault for that same time period without indicating the total number of sexual assault and sexual misconduct reports it received. So I thought, like, once that came out, we had tens of thousands of people on our website, checking us out, and really helped bring light and help kind of certify everything we were doing. And, at a broader scale to where, then we went back to those same people and said, hey, you were wrong. Look at the,
Yes.
this article that just came out.
Yes. Now, always nice to say to seed investors, angel funds, and venture capital funds, if they're not doing their homework. And you assisted them by providing, the very important data.
Yes.
We were talking also on a separate occasion about the founder of Ring. And I think, for example, about the live video, it's constant streaming. You can go live when you're not in that location. For example, you're traveling, you want to check on, say, your front porch or your backyard. There's also that really awesome feature called Neighbors where you can read about incidents in the area, and sometimes people will share their ring videos. Tell us about the ideas that you harnessed or garnered from, the ring application, and what type of new features do you want to add to your app?
Definitely, definitely. Yeah, Ring's amazing. The founder of Ring, I'm actually from his hometown, and he helped me, gave me some great advice when I was getting started. Saw him on Shark Tank one night, saw his hometown. I was like, oh, there's no way. I got to reach out to him, and he ended up hopping on a couple calls with me and giving me some really great advice in terms of, next steps, what to do and stuff like that. So, he's really awesome. And yeah, when you talk about like the Ring Neighbors app, there's definitely, we see this move towards, everything community, everything social. So like our tagline right now is safety made social with your squad. So a squad is like a group chat. So you could go live to one squad or multiple squads. And when I go live, they get alerted, hey, Dillon's live, and they could see and hear everything. They could message and chat. They'll soon be able to request to speak as well. So the two-way communication, there's dual camera, so they can see both in front of you and behind you. And you could also, we call picture-in-picture mode. Apple gave us access to continue streaming and recording when you leave the app, which is, really important, especially to Gen Z that likes to be on Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, just messaging and continuing to stay safe while they can do these things, whether it's in the back of an Uber, a Lyft, or walking at night in an area you may not be familiar with. And we really wanted to focus on this community aspect. And right now, you see a lot of Facebook groups. If you're the parent, of a kid in college, you're in the U Miami parents group, the University of Florida parents group, the FSU parents group, and these parents groups are used as like a community source of like safety related posts. So it's like, hey, my daughter was walking home the other night. I just want to let everyone know she had this incident. And then she'll post that to the parents, and probably the parents will call the kids, hey, just want you to be aware of that. But a lot of times there's a lot of miscommunication within the college community. So we're adding a feature that's kind of like Yik Yak for safety. Yik Yak is basically like anonymous Twitter for college campuses. So we're in the we added that now, and now we're adding, so you can segment it to your town, to your college campus, to really bring back, more so bring back, see something, say something, and posts that we have, see something, post something, where, even in the most recent weeks, with the assassination of Charlie Kirk and the attempted assassination of President Trump, you see all these videos come out after the fact of, hey, we saw the shooter 10, 15 minutes. We actually took a video of this guy on the roof, climbing onto the roof, but it's not getting in the hands of who it needs to get into before that incident happens. And so really just trying to bring back, see something, say something, where we identified, hey, especially on the college campus most recently with the Charlie Kirk assassination, was, what's the reason? Why was that video stored on the phone and not automatically shared with someone and just posted to X, hours later? So we identified, there needs to be like a good medium between students and police, where a lot of students don't want to put their name or get associated with any police report. They don't want to interact with police. They don't want to put their name on anything because, you're in college. Anything you put your name on could, from the student's view, could hurt them unless they're absolutely sure of something. So kind of bringing back, see something, say something in an anonymous way, and also helping, your community stay safe, where, from our use cases, if you're on a college campus, you're walking back from a bar late at night, you see, if you're a girl, you see, say, some sketchy guy under the bridge, he starts following you. You could go on there, do an anonymous safety post and say, hey, there's some sketchy guy that, seems like he's up to no good following me. I just walked on their bridge. You could drop that location of where it is so that people in your community will be able to avoid that situation. So our whole goal with this new feature is to prevent tragedies before they happen, and being able to help this niche down community stay safe in real time, where unfortunately see something, say something has seemed to go out the window.
Right. And I'm thinking also a use case or scenario whereby someone who has witnessed, like you said, the sketchy person, possibly criminal activity, those witnesses need to be protected, because it's very common for people to not come forward to law enforcement
Yeah.
because they're afraid of retaliation. And when you're
Yeah.
talking about local organized criminal rings, whether it's, narcotics trafficking, sex trafficking, usually those all tie in together. I had to protect someone just a week ago when I was at my local Pilates studio. Someone was being followed, and I stayed with her, and immediately was thinking about your app. If she had that app on her phone, what kind of data could we collect? You have to be careful not crossing the line of
Yeah.
someone else. There's sort of a fine line between someone else's privacy. Like you
Yeah.
give up your privacy if you are harassing someone, you are going to be in the sights of law enforcement. But that was something I was thinking about. When we put our sites here in New York, where I'm based, I know you're on the East Coast as well. Dillon, you and I talked about having this app on, say, the NYU campus, Hofstra, St. John's, and I'm going to do my best this week to put you in touch with the various heads of on-campus security for those colleges. My alma mater, Dartmouth, is sort of less of an issue because it's a small campus and people walk from place to place. Parties are held on campus, sometimes off campus. However, there's no reason why a school like Dartmouth could not implement that. Tell us about your strategy in terms of selling. It's a B2B. So in effect, selling the app on a
Yeah.
multi-seat basis to universities and colleges, even like big universities like University of Wisconsin or
Yes.
Penn State. How does that work, and what does
Yeah.
the revenue look like? I mean, obviously without
Yeah.
disclosing, what's that difference between like a small Dartmouth college versus a Penn State?
Definitely, definitely. So yeah, original method, is nothing like B2B software sales for revenue. So we went to universities first. The universities basically said, "Hey, we already have a safety app, you know, kind of we don't need anything." If you these universities reportedly pay between mostly $3 to $8, or if it's a per year, $3 to $8 a month, average, and then also even $15+ per year per student, or $30 per year. It varies greatly, but basically they're spending tens to hundreds of thousands of dollars a year on a safety app that most 99% of students we talk to have, one, don't even have downloaded, and two, don't even have never even heard of it. So then I encourage anyone listening to, if you have a kid in college, look up your school's safety app. And I did this last week. Just scroll through all these different school safety apps, and it'll be like, oh, the safety app was launched 9 years ago. We'll have three-star reviews in 9 years, which is, it's just like no one's using it. So basically, from my perspective, it's like, okay, these schools are paying for somewhat quote unquote insurance, to cover their liability asset. But at the end of the day, if no one's using it, there's actually 0 point. And what we realize is the school could honestly, they could put $1 million behind marketing to the students, but if it's coming from them, the student's just not going to use it. Even if it's coming from the parents, the student's not going to use it.
That's true.
Uh,
There's
so
also
us,
FERPA, right? So student on campus has protections under FERPA. Like something were to happen, the
yeah,
parents may not even know about it because
yeah,
that incident on campus is protected. Many people don't know that. They're shocked when they find out something about their child, adult child, that is at a university, and the
yeah,
university cannot give them information. So yes, this app that you've developed, Dylan, allows access to parents. Talk about the law enforcement connection. What
yes.
do you envision in terms of that particular stakeholder, very important one, getting access to the videos, the audio, and in particular, can you explain the back camera? Like, how does that work, and how would law enforcement use the front and the back camera video as evidence?
Definitely, definitely. So we are, kind of like like your own home alarm, but kind of on the move. So it's kind of that same system. So when you press that SOS, it's a third-party dispatching center that's getting that information, that then communicates and sends that information over to the 911 dispatcher in your area, or PSAT, with his, your local PSAT, that does all the dispatching for you. So it doesn't, right now, it doesn't go directly to 911. There's a third party that handles that information and contacts the right center and provides everything they're seeing, everything they're hearing, your location, and kind of like a white glove, personal security center. which is very cool. And we're in the midst of transitioning to a new back-end partner that we're launching October 1st that we're very, very excited about. We're launching a couple really, really big features. When is this podcast airing by chance? So then
Sure.
I'll
Next
be able
week.
to.
So most likely by the end of September.
Okay. All right, then I can't say it yet. But October 1st, we're coming out with a couple like really huge features, especially for parents uh, to help their college kids get emergency help in if they're unable to. So there were situations I read about where right now, if you're a student on campus, walking home at night, maybe you'll call your mom. And there was a situation where a student called their mom. Her mom heard a scream, and her mom, knew something was wrong. She thought about it for a little, knew something was wrong. She called 911, but she's in another state. So when she calls 911, it's her dispatching center. So now that 911 dispatcher has to figure out, okay, who's she calling about? Where's this person located? And then figure out the phone number of that dispatching center. And if it's a weird county, then, that dispatcher could end up spending 10, 15 plus minutes trying to figure out, hey, what number do I contact? And in this particular situation, it ended up taking close to 45 minutes to get in contact with the right people, the campus police, kind of loop everyone together. Where this feature we're launching October 1st will get everyone together, very, very, very quickly and help cut down that emergency response time.
Right.
That we realized, is a huge issue.
Absolutely. It could be the difference of life and death for that victim to get EMT, police to that specific geolocation. Talk to us about the security of your servers, where data is served. Obviously, there's a lot of PII, personal identifiable information about these students. So separate from FERPA, which is really under the university system governance, how do you protect the data for not just the students, but their friends, families, and associates who are part of their, what did you call it, garden or community?
Oh, squad.
Squad, thank you. The squad,
Yes.
The other squad, thank you.
Definitely. Yeah. So we, all of our data are stored with one of the most, well-known servers in the U.S. We don't exactly say the exact name of it because we don't want to, but we also, we work with a partial cybersecurity officer, their team. They do pen tests. Those pen tests, help, bring together the human pen tests, help show different vulnerabilities you may have so you could close those APIs. Because one of the biggest things right now is, especially with all the recent technology, Cursor, that helps people that aren't as technical code. The issue is those securing those APIs. So, we have a pretty big team right now that's very focused on security and anything they do. All the APIs, they're well trained in how to secure the APIs, and we store with some of the biggest, most well known servers.
Mm-hmm.
To if someone hacks into that, there's a lot bigger problems than
Right.
than me.
Absolutely. So just for the audience, pen testing is short for penetration testing. You're basically, you hire internal teams as well as external teams to test the resilience of your networks and look for gaps, look for even software openings when a software company may not have patched a problem immediately, and hackers, know how to get into that. So that's really important, that pen testing. So Dillon, let's talk about the capital that you've raised and what is your goal in terms of how many campuses where you are now versus where you want to be, say, in 1 year?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. So I originally raised a small friends and family round. Originally put in all my money, to get it off the ground. Ended up posting Snapchat stories my freshman year of, hey, I have this idea. If anyone wants to meet about this idea, meet me in the floor lobby. And, I ended up meeting with a bunch of friends I went to school with. One of my good friends, was, originally kind of like a co-founder, put in some money, helped get things off the ground, and then went on to raise a little friends and family round to help kind of greater the MVP and deliver a product to market. And then we just raised our pre-seed of $1 million. We actually overcommitted by about $1.5 million, which was good, but we had to take dilution into account. So I always like to you know only take the money I need. Not if we don't need more money, there's no point in diluting everyone. Um, so we're using that $1 million to help scale across college campuses right now, throughout this year. So we have ambassadors at every large Florida campus, and right now we're really focused on 5 major campuses. Those are UMiami, FSU, UF, Ohio State, and Penn State. And we're really kind of locked in on that. Want to prove it on those campuses first. We're just hiring campus correspondents right now. So a campus correspondent, it's their job to monitor Facebook groups, news in their area, chatter on campus, and do safety posts, on our activity page, which is like that anonymous Twitter for safety page. And then we'll probably be raising again sometime in maybe January or February, be opening the round again. And we have a couple large commitments already, on the wait list for that round. Because I think one of the biggest things is these big corporations that are worth billions of dollars, have these contracts with these universities for these safety apps, but eventually the universities are smart enough. They're going to be like, okay, why are we losing tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars on a product no one uses? So if we could deliver a product, that 20, 30, 40% of students on campus are using, that's obviously a lot more valuable to both the university, and then for our side, also investors to see. How we do that, as well as I helped co-found a marketing company. So we actually have over 3,000 college influencers throughout the nation right now, that are creating content, pushing out the app, and around that bout. And that's really that's one of the most unique things I would say about us is what we realize. You could create the best technology, the best thing ever, but if you don't get it or say it in the right way or get the
Yes.
right people marketing it, it's not gonna
Right.
it's
It
not gonna
falls
work
on
out.
deaf ears or it doesn't even reach the audience. Absolutely. So I know we're coming up on time, Dillon. So I just want to say congratulations, starting out in Florida, expanding to Penn State. I'm going to pitch in and get you some contacts, for colleges in my area. I'm also thinking about some of the state universities like SUNY, State University of New York. They have so many campuses around the state, including here on Long Island. So that would be super exciting if you can get that particular type of government contract, because again, you're working through the state in those cases. But we commend you for everything you've done, also for keeping students safe on campus, opening this up to teaching parents and grandparents, family members about these really important issues of safety on and off campus. It's incredible what you've built with all the technology features, and we thank you so much for spending the time with us. We're very excited about this podcast and watching your progression as we approach 2026. Do you have any
Yes.
parting comments for our audience?
I would say, I guess in terms of the company, or in terms of
Sure, anything.
just in
Just
terms.
give us your website again, and we'll put
Yes,
information on our website too so people can learn more about it.
definitely. Yeah, and the company's called 3rd-I, the number 3, and then the letters RD dash the letter I. We wanted to make the wording as confusing as possible so people would remember it. But yeah, so it's 3rd-I. Number 3 letters RD dash the letter I, and our true goal is to really bridge the gap between safety and social. And we actually had our first incident that we helped prevent in Miami when I have all my friends on the app, and one of the girls I was friends with was live. I got the notification she was live. I was doing work at my roommate's house, or in my roommate's room, and we were watching her stream together. She accidentally got in the wrong car. She thought was her Uber. She sat in the front seat, something you don't want to do. And then, during the stream, we were messaging, hey, definitely, why did you sit in the front seat? What are you doing? This is, tell this guy to let you out of the car. Eventually, midstream, she realized it was not her Uber. And so we were able to, watch live and message in the app, able to kind of be, her squad to help her guide her through. Because in that scenario, she was frozen. She didn't know what to do. So messaging her, hey, say this, say that, tell them to drop you off here, helping her get home safe. And ideally she would have pressed that SOS button and helped escalate it, but she kind of froze. She chose not to. And she described it as one of the scariest things that ever happened to her. But then we saw the value in being a squad member, watching that live, and having your job as a squad member be to help walk someone through one of the possibly scariest moments of their day, their week, their month, or even their life. And everything was recorded as well. So we all had the evidence, the guy touched her
Right.
leg, and she
Mm.
didn't file a police report or anything like that. But it was yeah, definitely a little scary. And unfortunately, our first use case was one of my good friends, but she was all good and safe, and helped really help. Hey, this is our job, and as a squad, to help you stay safe.
So I was thinking also, Dillon, just quickly, she got into the wrong car. And when people are in that situation, they don't think like, oh, I'm going to take a photo of the plates, or I'm going to take a photo of the registration. They might be afraid of retaliation. So in that case, how would law enforcement even track down that guy if it was the wrong car? How would that happen without the plates?
I would just say like security cameras probably from the area they would be able to see. We also have like a thing called trip mode. So if you're walking or if you're taking a car, you could go on a trip with someone. What that means is you share your live stream and the route that you're taking to your destination with someone. So they'll get alerted, hey, Dillon started a 15-minute route to the Hyatt in Miami. And if I get there, they'll get another notification Dillon arrived at the Hyatt. And if I don't get there, they'll get a notification. If I end the stream early, they'll get a notification that I ended the stream early and I didn't arrive at my destination. So with our trip mode, you could kind of really stay up to date on not just, where someone, like not just a video, but also where they're going. And if you're not able to watch that video, just look for notifications
Right.
of, when they arrive there, if they arrive there. And that whole trip is recorded as well with the route they were supposed to take and then the route they actually took.
I'm also thinking, and this is, I'm sure, common among university and college students, the phone battery is low. It's like always make sure you keep a charged battery and a
Yeah,
wire in your purse on your person, because if they're streaming their location and their phone dies, that's, a very difficult technical impediment in
yeah.
terms of completing the
No, yeah,
case or the investigation. So you play a major role in communicating those types of tips to your user base.
definitely. Yeah. So we tell everyone, if for the best battery efficiency, you'll probably only want to have your location sharing too while using. Especially if you have it to always allow, this isn't just for our app, this is all apps. Depending on the SDK they use, which is like or the software development kit for pulling location, it usually pulls your location, every X number of feet or every X number of minutes or hours, depending on the configuration of the app. So having to while using is just pull your location while using, so it decreases the battery strain on your phone. And then also uh, you know single camera, depending on the phone that you're on. Single camera will use the least number of battery. Dual camera, since you're shooting both angles, will use the most amount of battery. So we usually tell people to be most efficient. Stream that single camera. But it's no harm, no foul if you're doing dual camera. You're 5 minutes away. You're only going to use dual camera, depending on the phone that you're using, could use between zero point 0.4 and 0.6. But it is very variable, and that's a per minute. It is very variable depending on the phone. If you have a plus, if you have a regular size. But with the new iPhone 17s, the new iPhone 17 battery is unbelievable. They're finally stepping it up to Android in terms of their battery life, and with the new iPhones, yeah, that battery efficiency is really not a problem unless you get the really slim one.
Thank you again, Dillon, for taking the time today to tell us about your company, 3rd-I. Thank you for giving us all the background about how you started it, why you started it, the progression in terms of your capital raising, which is commendable. And then again, some of the key takeaways are your expansion to major campuses, not just in Florida, but across the United States. And I can definitely see, global expansion for you. If you think about some of the large university campuses in Germany and Asia, it's like the sky's the limit. So thank you again, Dillon, for being on From the Hill to the Trenches, and wishing you a great rest of your day.
Yes, thank you so much, Dorothy.
You've been listening to From the Hill to the Trenches, The Search for Justice. I'm Dorothy Hill. Financial crime, or fin crime, may seem distant and abstract, but its effects touch all of us through market instability, compromised institutions, and eroded trust in our financial systems. If today's discussion has sparked your interest, there are ways to stay engaged. Visit our website, www.hill2trenches.com. That's number 2, hill2trenches.com, where you will find resources, extended interviews, and case studies mentioned in this episode. Follow us on social media at Hill Trenches, that's trenches plural, at Hill Trenches, for daily insights and breaking news in the world of financial integrity. Most importantly, share what you've learned. Greater awareness is the first step toward a more transparent financial system that works for everyone, not just for those who know how to exploit it. Until next time, remember, following the money reveals the truth, and truth is the foundation of justice. Join us again next week as we continue our search for justice in the complex world of global finance.